my parents were huge supporters for me from a very young age. Even though they were divorced, my mom made a very big decision to stay in Illinois so that I could see my father regularly, and I think that had a huge impact on me. Outside of my parents, the high school years were very formative for me as well. I was very lucky to go to a boarding school with a strong college counseling program, so there was never a question of not being able to apply to certain schools because my college counselors knew all of the top tier schools. They knew what you had to do to get into those schools, and they knew how to prepare you for it. My parents never had low expectations for me because I was a black boy. The community really didn't have low expectations for me. So I very much never thought about encountering barriers as a black man by the time I got to college and graduated from college. But once I got to Princeton, I did realize that people didn't come from the most diverse communities. Sometimes they were often homogenous, and people had perhaps certain expectations, not necessarily about myself, but about some of the other black men and women at Princeton. And as I continued through my college experience, I started to realize more and more that race does matter, even if it's not something that I myself prioritize. And thinking about that more and more has allowed me to navigate college in a better way and to say, yes, I can still make it, but I also need to recognize that people don't understand the importance of race today, and I need to do something about it. The first thing you have to make very clear to black boys and children in general is that every decision that they make is going to be based on what they've seen and what they've experienced. And the way our education system is set up now is such that what you see K through 12 is nothing like what you're going to see in your college years, both in terms of your academics, your social experiences, and your personal development. So if I'm talking to a young boy, perhaps in elementary school, I would talk about the alumni that you can connect with who are in fields across the realm. I would talk about how there's not a psychology program in high school, but that may be something you become passionate about in college. I would talk about the research that you may be able to do. I would talk about how you would have access to internships and study abroad opportunities, and that you wouldn't be stuck in this one town. So overall, I would just make clear to them that if you can see the world, then you can make decisions within that world. And right now, you're limiting yourself to what you've seen in your home community if you don't pursue that degree. I would tell them that you will make it, and that education is the gateway to whatever you want it to be. I would talk about how it doesn't matter what your background was, what your parents did or did not do, or what was around your community. If you persevere and if you make education your number one priority, you can quite literally do anything that you want in this world. I would talk about how society may have one expectation for you, but that you have to set your own expectations, and if you guide yourself, then you'll be rewarded in the end.